How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be talking about the second episode of the Chucky TV series. This is Season 1, Episode 2, Give Me Something Good to Eat. As you can tell, a Halloween episode. This is from 2021 and is directed by Dermott Downs, and once again stars Zackary Arthur and Brad Dourif. The series was created by Don Mancini, who also has a producing and a writing credit. So, yeah, I get you can't have the same guy direct every episode. That'd be way too exhausting. But to give him a writer's credit, I'm guessing that's going to be for every episode. So you do get a consistent vision throughout the story, a nice through line, and it's not just a whole bunch of different people yanking it in their own direction. So cool to see him returning for the writing. And yeah, a Halloween episode. That's a really great idea. I wish more horror shows would do Halloween episodes. And, maybe if you guys want to leave me any recommendations, do the X-Files ever do one? But yeah, a Halloween episode, that's really cool. I mean, it's not all about Halloween, but it is there, and it's definitely fun. And also, no, this isn't that Michael Myers crossover thing. That was just an ad. That was just an ad for Halloween Kills. But anyway, this is very much a establishing the new status quo episode. The last episode was all the setup. It's all how the pieces got where they are. But here we're seeing what life is like in the series. And I do really have to appreciate that, as you have to establish your status quo. You have to say, this is what we're doing before we start to change it up, and this is a good episode for that. And, if you're going to do one that's very much establishing the norms, how can you do that in a fun, entertaining way? Well, it's also Halloween, so that is really cool, And yeah, I could have done way more Halloween stuff, but it is really, really cool. Now, one thing with this series is this is only one kill this episode, and I'm hoping it does amp that up. The first one only had one kill. That made sense as the first episode. You can't do too much. Here I was kind of hoping that we might be getting a second one, because the first one comes really early in this episode. But no, still just one. But I'm thinking it's going to amp up pretty soon. I hope it's not just one every single episode. I hope by at least the halfway point things start to get crazier. And you can already see, just compared to episode 1, Chucky's talking more. There's, much more going on with the supernatural element of this story. So, it is a step in the right direction, but we're nowhere near the craziness that I'm sure the end of the series will be. But overall, a fun episode, and hey, like I said before, Halloween is great. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the plot. Now, I'm not going to be doing any major spoilers, but I do want to say my piece on a few plot points and make sure you guys have a basic understanding as to what the episode's about. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the opening. It opens up with a flashback. We know in this series we're going to be getting a little bit of what Charles Lee Ray was like when he was younger. And in this flashback, it's Halloween for young Charles Lee Ray as well. And he looks at his candy, and he gets an apple with a razor in it. Now, he notices this before he eats it, and he's like, there's a razor there. But because he's a sick, messed up kid, he just wants to, feel pain or something. He decides to, take a little bite anyway. So we're seeing that there's something wrong with this kid at a young age. What happened? Well, we don't know yet, so we're getting a little clue that he was messed up from way back when, But anyway, jump to the present, and we get to see a bit of what Jake's new school life is like. Now, bear in mind, in the first episode, by the way, no major spoilers for this episode, gonna have to talk openly about episode 1, but in the last episode, 2 major things happened that kind of affected Jake's nerd status. One, he had that excellent performance with Chucky, where he pretends Chucky's a ventriloquist dummy, and that gives Charles Lee Ray an excuse to say whatever he wants, and everyone thinks that Jake is the cool comedian, you know, and he's getting a lot of social points for that. Also, his dad died, and it's pretty rude to make fun of a guy when that just happened. That doesn't mean some of the more extreme bully characters aren't gonna have that respect, but you know, a lot of people are coming up and saying, hey, my condolences, and you actually get one guy who was rude to him earlier coming up and saying, hey, Jake, I'm really sorry about that. I hope you're doing okay. Would you like to come to my Halloween party? And that's really a move you don't see on TV too often, or movies really, is some guy going, hey, look, about back there, I'm really sorry, I was a huge jerk. Most of the time, jerk characters are evil through and through, but to see someone make a sincere apology, you know, and it's not like the Halloween party's a big prank against him or anything, he's trying to be a better person, and I always appreciate trying to see people, you know, try to be better people, so that was really nice. But anyway, Jake and his cousin go home, and they find that Chucky did something. Well, of course, the cousin doesn't know this yet. But you see, when the maid was cleaning the room, the maid sprayed Chucky in the face and wiped him down. And, you know, he's got a bit of a temper. He's been hanging out all week, and he hasn't been killing people. So he pushes the maid into the washing machine, where there are several kitchen knives sticking straight up, and it impales her face in the knives. And this is actually a pretty good gore effect, especially for TV. The knives going through her face, you do get a really good end reveal shot, you know, just showing the aftermath and how, you know, bad and gory that could be. So a pretty good kill, you know, if we're only going to get one, put some work into the effects and try to make it pop. But yeah, a few things with the kills in the series. So far, it's only been one an episode. I'm thinking towards the end that will change. But also, so far, Chucky is playing it smart, keeping it down, and trying to not get noticed. And he's doing all these kills that look like they're accidents, you know? In fact, they know from the doorbell camera that no one entered the house except for the maid. Obviously, they didn't expect anyone to still be in the house, so they're like, it has to have been an accident because no one came in, right? So you do get a bit of the cops investigating, and it's one of those things where it's like, all the evidence says nothing out of the ordinary happened, it's just a bad accident, but of course you're going to get the cops being, you know, suspicious. You're going to get the cops going, there's something off here, I can feel it, and not putting it down despite all the evidence going, there's nothing here. And we also do get maybe I just spaced out and missed this in the last episode, but the main cop lady is actually the podcast kid's mom. So she might be using Jake and his new friendship to kind of pry into Jake's personal life, an excuse to wedge herself in there and try to see what all's up with him, you know? So that was a cool idea there, and you have to wonder how quickly they get involved and how quickly before they absolutely can't ignore this, you know? So how much trouble is Chucky going to be getting Jake in? But anyway, Jake and Chucky talk, and, you know, that is one of the series things that I think is going to be the most interesting, is you have a generally nice kid and a murdering doll, and, you know, how Chucky spins things, how he talks to them, how he says, I'm your friend to the end, how he can get this kid to trust him and try to lure him over to the dark side. You know, he mentions, first of all, he denies killing the maid, which I think it should be obvious he did. It could be an accident, but, you know, Chucky. But he says, look, I kill people because it's everybody versus each other in the world, and there's a lot of really bad jerk people, you know? and he's really rationalizing it and saying, hey, if you don't stick up for yourself, other people are gonna come after you, you know? So yeah, the basic thing, you know, Jake does need to learn to stick up for himself and be a bold person, but Chucky is just taking that message and pushing it farther and farther and saying, hey, look, if you don't get them, they'll get you. Trust me, I'm your friend to the end, you know? So this is going to be a thing, you know, throughout the series that I'm really wondering, you know, is will Chucky win or will Jake stay a good person, you know? And so many, you know, series, you know, a lot of other places, I would think they wouldn't have the guts to, you know, fully turn Jake evil. But I don't know. If any series could do it, Chucky might. You know, Friday the 13th, 5 to 6. Halloween, 4 to 5. They never kept the main character going evil. It always pulled him back. So it would be kind of refreshing to see someone actually turn to the dark side, you know? So I'm curious about that. Anyway, Jake eventually decides he doesn't want to go to the Halloween party. Chucky doesn't like that, and he sneaks out by himself. And one thing I do like, it's Halloween, so Chucky just grabs some random Hello Kitty mask, and without seeing his plastic face, you just assume that's a really little child running around. So he just goes and he finds the party and he's running around in public during trick-or-treating and everyone just thinks he's a kid. That's a fun idea, you know, and they'll probably sell merchandise, you know, Halloween Chucky or whatever. But so he gets to the party and the kids are going to the party and it's all going to, you know, collide and there'll be lots of drama and stuff there. So that's the part I definitely won't spoil, is how the party all plays out. Although I do want to say in one scene, we get to see Chucky taking an interest in the cousin's girlfriend's younger sister. You see, she had drawn a picture of Chucky. The two are aware of each other, and here you had a scene where they're playing video games together. It's some Mortal Kombat-like game. I think they made it up for the show, but if it's a real one, you can tell me what it is. But I do like that they say Chucky's murder skills somehow translate into the video game, and he's really good at killing people even if it's a video game. That was a funny idea. But you do get to see him talking to another kid and kind of sticking his fingers in multiple pies there and kind of trying to influence whoever he can. And I'm curious to see where this relationship goes as well. He's influencing Jake. He's influencing this other kid too. How many people is he going to send down a crazy path? You know, that's interesting. But anyway, really with this episode, you know, you're getting a feel as to where the series is going, who the characters are, and you're getting a more well-rounded idea of the side characters, you know? Like the podcast kid, he was in the first episode. I feel like we know him a lot better in this episode, you know? And a few of the other characters, you know, like the guy that invites him to the party, didn't really know him too well in the last episode. You get to know him a lot better now that he actually apologized, invited people over. So it is also good to flesh out the side characters, because you're going to need them for a TV show. But anyway, I am curious when the action's going to amp up. You know, this is good setup, but I'm wondering when this series goes crazy, how soon will that be, and can it keep all those plates spinning for multiple episodes, you know? So I am curious how they're going to do it towards the end. Overall, a fun Halloween episode, only one kill, but I got to understand the show a lot better, so I did like it for that. And, you know, overall, I just realized, you know, this is how you can tell if a series is really good, is I was like, oh man, new Chucky's on, you know, just, you know, that wanting to watch it, you know, I was just really happy. I'm like, good, it's Tuesday, you know, so that's how you can tell, and I'm looking forward to the next episode as well, so fingers crossed for another fun Chucky outing. Hey, we got a Halloween episode. Are we going to get a Christmas episode? I don't know. That might be where the series ends. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. to everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll put a relevant playlist on the bottom. Probably will be my TV playlist. If you guys want to see other TV shows I've talked about, I talked about a few seasons of Tales from the Crypt. I talked about the first episode of SyFy's Day of the Dead show. So if you want to see me talk about more TV, that will be in this playlist as well. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.